Back in January, I took a trip to Tokyo and ended up buying my first ever medium format film camera. That is my Mamiya RB67, and since then I've been shooting a ton with it. I've shot around 60 to 70 rolls with it already, so I think it's time to do a bit of a review. I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this camera. There's been a lot of upsides and downsides with it, so I'm gonna list, just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna list 3 pros and 3 cons of the camera, and yeah, let's just get into it. So obviously we're going to talk about the pros first. So that first pro of the camera is going to be the quality of it, not the quality of like the camera, but the quality of the photos that you take through that camera. Shooting with a 6x7 film camera is always super nice, just because of the medium format film. It's just really nice, and you get a lot of details. I can print all of my film photos now like really big, which is super nice compared to 35 where it's like super grainy. Now whenever I'm shooting 6x7, it's like really nice, no grain at all. Not no grain, but like, you know, less grain, and you can blow it up a lot bigger, and it is easier to use for bigger projects. Actually, when I just got this camera, I was hired to shoot for Toyota, and they wanted me to shoot film, and I literally got the camera from Japan, did one test roll with it, and then shot everything with that job just with the RV, and everything turned out really good. So yeah, I do think that it is more of a professional camera compared to a 35mm film camera. So yeah, that is the first pro. The second pro of the camera is it is all mechanical. What I love about the camera so much is that there's no batteries at all. Like, I never have to worry about having a dead battery on a shoot, and that's always super annoying. Whenever I shoot with my Nikon F3, sometimes those just don't, like, they just die just out of nowhere, and it's super hard getting any of those old like random batteries, like the 123 batteries. You can't buy those on stores, and like if they are, they're like 20 bucks, which is really annoying. So that's what I love about the RV. There's no batteries, unless if you're trying to buy like an automatic film back, but you definitely should not do that in general, because I've learned my lesson. So I'll talk more about that in the cons of the video. So for the third pro of shooting with the RB67, I'd say that the learning curve to actually shooting with this camera is fairly easy. It is very like hard at first, I think, kind of, just because there's like so many different steps compared to shooting with a 35mm SLR, or just if you're going from digital, there's pretty big difference. But it wasn't too hard for me, honestly. Like, I shot like 2-3 rolls with it with my like Toyota shoot, and I've been able to shoot a lot faster now after like a couple months. But like, it probably took like a week or two of just shooting with the RB, and I could just like blast through rolls like really easy, thankfully. Because at first I was definitely struggling, but the learning curve isn't too bad as what some of these other film photographers say about it. The only thing that you got to worry about mainly is just learning how to meter the scene. It's fairly tough at first if you have never done it before, but I shot with my Nikon F3 with a 50mm lens, an old 50mm lens that didn't have a light meter on it, so I would use a light meter anyways. So that wasn't really hard for me to go from shooting with an SLR to a medium format film camera, especially with RV. Now we're going to talk about the cons of shooting with the RB67, and there are a few pretty big cons shooting with this thing. The first thing I always got to talk about is the size and the weight of this camera. Let me go and actually grab it real quick. Alrighty, here it is. This is my Mamiya RB67, and this thing, I have a 90mm KL lens on it right now, and it is really heavy. I think the camera itself, I think with the normal lens, just is like 7 pounds, but I think this one is a little bit heavier because it's more glass on this one, and it's hard to hold this like this. But yeah, I think it's like 8 pounds now with my RB, which is pretty hard to shoot with, I'm not gonna lie. Or not hard to shoot with, but hard to walk around with. I went to Yosemite pretty recently and walked around with that thing. I also went to a car event for like 6 hours and walked around with that camera the entire time, and it is not fun, but the photos do turn out good. So there's upsides and downsides to shooting with the camera, but I don't think I would ever want to swap to get a Pentax rather than my RB, honestly. I'm really happy with my decision. Okay, so for the second con of the camera, I gotta talk about the film backs. So I have gone through 2 film backs already, and I'm on my 3rd, and I just bought a 4th one already, and it's only been 4 months since I've been shooting with this camera. If you do want to buy a Mamiya RB67, please buy a film back, the Pro SD film back. Those ones I've been told are just way better. Whenever I got my RB67 in Japan, it was just the Pro. So the film back was the oldest one out there, and I shot like 20-30 rolls with it, and then I started getting light leaks, and I tried to fix the light seals of the camera and nothing was helping. So I bought another one. Actually, my friend actually gave me another one, so I used a mechanical one for a bit as well. That one worked fine, and then after 10 or 15 rolls with that thing, then it started having electronic problems, and I would shoot a photo and then it would just rewind the entire thing. So I would take a photo and I only get 1 shot per roll, which is not ideal. So yeah, I'm trying to figure that out right now. I have another film back incoming, so hopefully that one doesn't break anytime soon. But yeah, I would highly recommend getting a newer film back, which is the Pro SD. I've been told that those are like the same quality as like the RZ, which never really has any light leak problems, thankfully. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that is a huge con if you don't know what to actually buy. And now for the 3rd and last con of the video, and that is the focusing of the camera. I miss focus, not that often, but it is very easy to miss focus with this camera, especially because it's a waist level viewfinder and there is a magnifier thing on it, but it is still pretty hard to actually use. I don't know if it's my eyes, just they're not sharp or anything, if I need glasses or something, but I do miss focus every now and then, especially if I'm shooting like wide open or just even at like 5.6. I still miss focus every now and then, which is annoying because, you know, photos are expensive, especially with the RB. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other way to shoot with this camera. I know there's like a prison finder or something you can shoot with as well, but I've never tried it, and I don't want my camera to be even heavier than what it is already. So I'm just going to stick with what I've got already and then just try to shoot everything at like f8 or f11 or higher or something like that, just to make sure everything is in focus. But yeah, just know that it is kind of easy to misfocus if you're shooting wide open. So with all that being said, I do enjoy shooting with this camera and I love it so much. I don't plan on changing it and getting a newer, not newer, but just a different 6.7 film camera. I really love shooting with a waist level viewfinder and just shooting with the RB in general. I love the bellows of it. Like, you can shoot super close up, which is really nice, and I can shoot like, I don't know, all the stuff that I need with it. So yeah, can't hate on it. There is some cons, you know, like I said before, but it is a great camera. So if you are actually trying to get one right now, I would highly recommend getting one and making sure that you get the SD because the Pro SD has a lot less problems. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.